Hello, everyone, and welcome to another interesting webinar provided by Education USA Virtual. My name is Alina, and I'm an Education USA advisor. And today we are having another interesting webinar. We start this month with popular majors and popular programs, which are available for both undergraduate and graduate students. And you can see the list of all the events that we have planned on our website. There is a QR code that we encourage you to scan and to subscribe for them. You have the option to address your question in advance. So we're going to do the same procedure today. We have the Q&A session when we can address the question and give you the answer. So yes, I already said that for November, we're going to talk about some of the most popular majors and programs the students choose to apply. So today we're going to focus specifically on STEM, because we have a lot of students who would ask us about the STEM program and about the possibility of having that in the United States. So we have invited two representatives from the INUNI, and we have Jamila. She's a business development manager, and we have her colleague Denver. He's director of strategic operations, also at the INUNI. So we're going to talk with them, and we're going to enjoy the presentation that they have prepared for us related to the STEM field. So I encourage those who are watching us now to submit their question in the in the chat box, and we're going to be able to answer them after the presentation. So Jamila, I'm going to just give you the floor. You can introduce yourself, and then yes, we can just go through the presentation.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, dear Alina, for introduction and for having us today. So it's great to see you all here today. And my name is Jamila Mammadova. I'm a business development manager for US brands at INUNI. And I'm so excited to talk with you about one of my favorite topics, how USA education, especially STEM, builds real careers and not just diplomas. And today we'll see how studying in the USA gives you a chance to turn your ideas into impact. Next. Okay, let's be honest. Nobody dreams just having a degree, right? So you want a career, you want a purpose, you want a future that excites you. That's exactly what USA universities focus on, connecting what you study with what the world actually needs. So, and this is especially true for STEM fields because you are not just studying theories, you are solving real world problems. And what is STEM? STEM, it stands for science, technology, engineering, and math, four areas that literally shape our future. Just think about it. So from AI to robotics to renewable energy to biotechnology, all these innovations come from STEM. The term was created by the USA National Science Foundation in 2001, and since then it's become a global language of innovations. So if you are a creative problem solver, in this case, STEM is where you can turn your ideas into reality. Next. So here is something that makes studying STEM in the USA extra special, a real-world experience while you study. Through CPT and OPT, you can actually work in your field. CPT, which is curricular practical training, it lets you take internship while you study. After graduation OPT, which is an optional practical training, it gives you 12 months to work in your field. And the special thing is that for STEM students, there is even extra 24 months of extension, so you can stay up to 3 years to build your career. Just imagine you are studying engineering or some STEM-related program, and you are doing your internship is in such companies as Tesla or Microsoft, and then working in robotics after graduation. It all looks very possible. Next. Let's look at a bit global picture. Around the world, companies, they cannot right now find enough skilled STEM professionals. Here is the picture. By 2030, the USA will need over 1 million more STEM workers, and industries like AI, semiconductors and manufacturing. They are ready to, they are already short of talent. And what means that for you? It means that the world needs you, and they need smart, motivated students who can build the future. Next. So here we will answer the question why to study STEM in the USA specifically, because it's a global innovation hub. And just think about the companies like Google, Apple, Microsoft. They all are American companies, and they are leading the tech revolution. The fact is that 60% of the world's leading companies, they are based in the USA, and they are investing more than $30 billion in AI only this year. So studying here means being part of this incredible ecosystem. Next. And what does all of this mean for you? A USA STEM degree is not just a qualification, of course, it's a pathway to your future. Graduates earn an average of $75,000, $80,000 a year, which is almost a double what many other countries offer early in a career. But the most important thing is that you will gain a global experience, stability, and the chance to shape industries that matter. Next. So, and why international students matter? Here is something many people they don't realize, that international students are the heart of USA innovation. Nearly half of all masters and PhD students in STEM in the USA, they are international students, and you are the ones that driving research, building startups, and also creating technologies that change lives. Next. Let's now see where you can study. In uni, it represents amazing universities across the United States, from Avila, which is in Missouri, to Akron, which is in Ohio. So they all have one thing in common: career-driven programs that prepare you for your future. It doesn't matter whether it's STEM or business, design, or healthcare. And one of the important things is that our universities offer scholarships up to 65% and flexible payments that makes this journey more achievable. Next. Okay. STEM programs in the USA, they are about hands-on learning. So you don't just study theory, you apply it. So students work in lab, they make research projects, they make internships, and over 90% of STEM graduates, they find job or continue their studies within 6 months after the graduation, because these programs are built around industry needs. So with the CPT and OPT, you can also gain practical work experience, as I emphasized it before. And after your studies, and with the STEM designated programs, you can stay extra 24 months, up to 3 years. As I emphasized, our universities offer scholarships and flexible payments, making it more accessible. So wherever you study, it doesn't matter. USA STEM education prepares you for the technologies and challenges shaping our world. Next. Okay, before we move forward, I would like to introduce my colleague, Denver Moorhead. Denver is the Director of Strategic Operations and Growth, and he works closely with the United States universities to develop programs and help international students succeed, especially in high-demand areas like STEM and technologies. So, Denver, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jamila, and Alina, thank you for inviting me here today. I'm glad to be here. So once again, hi everyone, my name is Denver Muirhead, and I'm here representing the University of Akron in the United States. So I work with students across the world, helping them explore American universities that provide not just quality education, but also real career outcomes. Today we'll talk about why studying STEM in the United States, and especially the University of Akron, offers world-class academics, hands-on learning, and outstanding career opportunities. And one of our goals here is to help you see how the university and STEM come together in terms of better career outcomes. Next slide, please. Okay, so looking at the overall global need and looking at Akron specifically, across the world, there's a growing need for STEM professionals, scientists, engineers, AI specialists, data experts, and also innovators. Companies in nearly every sector are struggling to find people with these technical and analytical skills. That's exactly where the University of Akron excels, connecting global challenges to local innovation. Akron is a public research university focused on applied learning, where students work on real-world projects with real-world outcomes through co-ops, internships, and research partnerships. It's a kind of education that prepares you not just to earn a degree, but to step right into a particular career. So let's look at the University of Akron and kind of what sets it apart a little bit. Firstly, Akron offers a global and inclusive environment. Students come from nearly 70 countries, and the university ranks in the top 10 nationally for its commitment to international student support. This means you'll be part of a diverse, welcoming community that celebrates global perspectives. Akron is also known for its STEM and specialized academics, which is a core theme of today, particularly in polymer engineering, corrosion engineering, and other high impact research areas. You'll have access to state-of-the-art labs and culture of innovation. Third, Akron is ranked #1 in North America for polymer science and plastics engineering by EduRank 2023, and it's a global recognition of our leadership in materials science and also applied engineering. And lastly, from a bit more of a general perspective, it offers comprehensive support to international students from pre-arrival to orientation, visa processes, and also making sure that you settle in to your new life accordingly. Overall, Akron offers cost-effective, high return on investment programs. Many master's degrees can be completed in as little as 12 months. And as Jamila mentioned, STEM extensions and STEM graduate options available for you, depending on which program that you choose for. So when you think about the University of Akron, you think innovation, inclusion, support, and also success all in one package. Next slide, please. So let's have a broader look at the university itself. So total enrollment around about 15,376 students, give or take in total, which breaks down a majority of undergrads, so just over 13,000, and just shy of 2,000 graduate students, with around 490 law programs specifically. With regards to looking at our academic portfolio, overall, there are 227 undergraduate majors and 155 graduate programs across the fields of engineering, data science, healthcare, business, computing, design, and many, many more. Focusing on the STEM particular excellence, as I mentioned, ranked #1 in North America for polymer science and plastics engineering. If you look at our leading programs of where we get the most demand and the most growth, overall, you'd be looking at biomedical, mechanical, chemical, electrical, and polymer engineering aspects. That's on the undergraduate side of things. For those looking at the graduate prospects, our most popular programs would focus on electrical and computer, mechanical, civil, chemical, and biomedical engineering, all STEM designated for OPT and STEM OPT eligibility. With regards to location, Akron's in Northeast Ohio, part of a high-growth innovation corridor that connects Cleveland, Columbus, and Pittsburgh. It's safe, affordable, and industry-connected, offering lower living costs, but proximity to major employers and research hubs. And then lastly, the 218-acre campus combines modern labs, marker spaces, and collaborative learning environments, perfect for applied STEM study. Next slide, please. So giving you a little bit of a taster on some of the programs in a bit more depth, we've picked some of our favorites and also some of the students' favorites as well. Starting off with biomedical engineering, irrespective of whether it's undergrad or grad, biomedical engineering combines engineering and life sciences to design healthcare technologies, from prosthetics and implants to diagnostic systems. The program is ABET accredited, meaning it meets the highest standards in engineering accrediting and awarding body standards. Students gain hands-on experience in labs, complete a senior design project, and often take part in paid co-ops with healthcare and tech companies. It's an ideal path for those who want to merge innovation with impact, improving lives and engineering. Next slide, please, which would focus on the mechanical engineering. So mechanical engineering is one of Akron's largest and most versatile programs. It covers mechanics, thermodynamics, materials, and design, and also students learn through project-based courses and simulations. Many students also take part in co-op programs, gaining paid work experience while studying. That's why employers seek Akron graduates as technically skilled and work ready. You get the combination of both. They've already been tested in real-world industry environments. Next slide, please. We'll move on to electrical and computer engineering. So with this particular programs, or with these programs, they prepare students for the technologies driving our future: power systems, signal processing, automation, and embedded computing. A lot of the hot topics that are going on in today's environment. You'll learn through collaborative lab work and applied research projects. Because it's a STEM designated degree, you'll be able to use that information and your graduation for up to 36 months of that STEM OPT after your graduation. So it's an excellent way for you to progress into your career and launch it into the market. Next slide, please. So giving you a little bit of an indication of the programs, one of the common questions we always get is, what are the entry requirements? What are required, and what would I need to do to stand a chance of being admitted into the University of Akron? So if you're looking at applying for an undergraduate program, you would have to have completed your secondary and high school, which then equivalates to a US degree or a US grade 12. Every particular qualification should have an overall minimum GPA, so it's a grade point average, which meets the equivalency. So essentially, once we have your documents, we would be able to do that assessment just to make sure you are at the required academic level. You'll complete a standard application, and you'll have to provide your overall academic transcripts, passport, and proof of your financial support, which will come to in one of the further slides as well. Again, as all of the programs are studied in English, we would expect you to have taken or be in the process of taking an English language proficiency test. Any one of the following are acceptable: TOEFL, IELTS, PTE, SAT, ACT, Duolingo, and Cambridge as well. If you are looking to progress into our graduate programs, you need to have the equivalent of a 4 years bachelor's degree. Again, we would do the assessment to make sure that, one, it is the equivalent of a US bachelor's degree, and two, it meets the overall minimum GPA requirements. Naturally, we do review cases on a specific basis. So if there are any particular applicants that have a stronger set of work experience, but also need to be reviewed in particular detail for certain programs, we also do that just for reference. With regards to some of the types of documents that we need, our evaluations are done on a course-by-course basis. So for those of you that know about NACIS provided evaluations, such as WES, ECE, TEC, you are able, or if you have those, we do accept those documents as well as proof of your overall GPA, and that is based on a course-by-course breakdown, therefore highlighting the grade of every subject that you have attained. And naturally, you'd have to provide, again, English language requirements are of the same as the undergraduate, but just at a different score. Again, GRE and GMAT would be required potentially for some programs, but the majority do not expect them. And then the additional documents that you would need would be letters of recommendation, statement of purpose, highlighting clearly why you've opted this program and how it links to your potential future, and a resume or CV up to date to let us know what you're currently doing, irrespective of whether you're still studying. Plus, also, if you have any further hobbies, interests, volunteer work, factors that add to the strength of your application is what we want to see. So yes, we do look at the academics as one of the main things, but we're looking holistically at the type of student that the University of Akron can help develop and move into the international market for STEM programs. Next slide, please. Okay, so after the overall admissions requirements comes the overall tuitions. So for our undergraduate programs, in total, that means everything all in, you would be looking to have on your overall bank statements just under $40,000. So it's $38,789. Now that's broken down by your tuition and your fees, your on-campus room and board. Again, for your first semester, you would need to live on campus if you're an undergraduate student. Again, just undergraduate students. Health insurance, which is compulsory. All international students must have health insurance. Books and personal expenses. Again, this is based on an estimate of what we feel that you may need in terms of purchasing books, but also using online materials as well, plus also maintaining food and any other particular allowances that you may require to live comfortably. So total, you'd be looking at just under $40,000 for a particular academic year. As I mentioned, all international undergraduate students need to live on campus for their first semester. University of Akron does accept students with particular dependents, but you would need to show them on your particular bank statement as well to ensure that they can be supported and during your time here. And international students, just for clarification and sort of language, international students are classified as out-of-state residents. So you'll have in-state and then out-of-state. You'd be classed as out-of-state, hence where these overall tuition fees are broken down from. Next slide, please. Okay, so looking at the graduate areas, as you can see from the undergraduate, it was given to Wholesome in terms of an overall fee. Graduates usually work on credits, and it does depend on the amount of credits that you do take. However, if you were looking at an overall charge for tuition, you'd be looking between up to $24,000 for the overall grad program. And again, in addition to that, you'd be looking at on-campus room and board. Because of graduate studies, again, you can choose to stay on campus, or you can look at options outside of campus as well. As we know, graduate students sometimes like to lodge together and have different options available to them. But if they did opt to, we would calculate the on-campus room and board at $13,000. Again, irrespective of whether you're grad or undergrad, would be health insurance is compulsory. And again, books and personal expenses. Again, this is our framework. However, sometimes we know it may be more depending on which books, how many books, and the intensity of your study. So overall, in regards to your bank statements, you'd be looking between $31,000 and $41,000 that you would need to show on your bank statements when it does come to applying for your particular visa. Again, there are potential international scholarships available and potential assistantships, which either waive tuition and provide any further assistance depending on where you are, and that is reviewed on an overall case-by-case basis. There are some further breakdowns of fees, such as engineering and polymer science program fees at about $15, infrastructure fees, and sometimes graduation fees as well. So there are further parts to add to this, depending on where you are and what program that you do take. But this is to give you an overall framework of what you should be saving and allocating, either speaking to your parents and family members about in terms of financial resource that you need in order to live and study comfortably. Next slide, please. Okay, so if we look at the sort of career development, one of the main things is ensuring and making sure that applicants have the best possible chance to go out into the overall workplace. So career preparation is central to Akron student experience. The Careers Services Center provides resume reviews, interview coaching, LinkedIn training, and careers fairs that help you connect to employers, which is a common question that we constantly get, not just when you're graduating, but it's literally the day you arrive on campus. Akron also uses Handshake, a national platform linking students to internships and also full-time jobs. A special touch is the Career Closet, where students can borrow professional attire for interviews, small details that show how supportive the overall environment is. Again, these are just a few, but as you can see, Akron also arranges networking events and job fairs where industry comes to us and you're able to put your best foot forward in terms of discussing potential career opportunities, what the pathways are, potential salaries, where you can be in 5 to 10 years as well. All of the things that you should be thinking about, you know, when you are looking at further education is what can it lead me on to the next stage? And Akron's Career Development Support Service will provide all of this. As I said to you before, not when you graduate, from the time that you arrive from day one, to make sure you start thinking about it the moment you reach your relevant classroom period. Next slide, please. Perfect. So I will conclude it there. And what I would say is definitely the University of Akron does provide a supportive environment and leads the way in terms of STEM programs and really ensuring that graduate outcomes are one of the core focus that we prioritize. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jamila and Denver. We really appreciate the presentation, and we really appreciate all the details that you have offered that. And I really liked not the comparison, but I really like how you related that to the experience of a student studying at Akron. So that gives us a better understanding on what the student should expect when he would do the application, when he would look for the scholarships and the opportunities an institution would have for him or her. So now we move to the Q&A session. We have a bunch of questions that our students have addressed in advance, and I encourage those who are live with us now to submit more of them in the chat box. That's available in the comment section. So one of the first question that we had, and I'm not sure which one of you would prefer to answer that, but I think yes, you will jungle with those. Okay, so maybe we know that you are representing a specific institution, but of course, a general question from our student: what colleges would you recommend considering for good STEM programs? So if we're now talking about the uni system, maybe you can just mention once more which of the institutions are good in STEM.
Sorry, Jamila, do you want to maybe touch on a few institutions, and I'll come in after just to see if there's any more?
Yeah, okay. So actually, if we're talking about STEM programs and the future in STEM, so here we have to, of course, suggest STEM related universities such as RPI, maybe Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, which is the oldest technological research university in the United States. And actually, here I would like to emphasize that not students usually think that only programs in science, technologies, engineering, and math are STEM designated, which is not true. Some programs in business are also, or healthcare, are also STEM designated programs. So here we have to see if the university is a technological university. Does it have research labs and so on. So Akron is a good option as well. But as I mentioned it before, we actually have a STEM designated program in all of our universities. So students can make a decision based on their personal decisions on locations, let's say, and so on. But RPI and Akron, I think, is a good options. What do you think, Danver?
Yeah, I would agree. I think firstly I would follow up and ask for the definition of good STEM programs. So as you know, that's quite a subjective term, and every particular student is an individual and has individual motives. For example, people take STEM programs because they want to go into the research field. That is their core focus. They want to study, they then go on to get their master's, get their PhD, and then come back to university to work as either faculty and work on research. Now, what for? Machine learning, AI, healthcare, robotics, everything that is progressing new. So research could be an area in terms of, okay, this is one of my pathways. Two, people want to go into the sort of the corporate sector, work for companies that are progressing with tech, Tesla, Twitter, so on and so forth, to make sure they're at the forefront of what is going on in the business world. And then lastly, I'd probably say is one thing that I suppose you should look at, especially with not just our institutions, is outcomes. What is it in terms of the job prospects that you can get, irrespective of whether it's by location, by program, by subject? So for example, something like machine learning is quite new. Again, for a lot of us, for the people that are leaders in the industry, it's not new. But something like that is a new field that people can go into. But over the last few years, we've seen that computer science, the data analytics, they're very common areas. So therefore competition might be stronger because that particular industry or that sector of the industry has matured more. So when you're looking for a particular good STEM program, you have to consider all of those factors. It's not just individually what the program can give you from an academic standpoint, but it's whether that particular program along with the institution can build up your particular leadership skills, your soft skills, how you develop information, how you progress that information, how you manage up, how you manage down, and where you can potentially go to in the job market, wherever it is your particular desires go. So you got to look at 3 or 4 different key points to define good, but that would be my take. And again, University of Akron and, as Jamila said, RPI are good options for those to really challenge the next step of leaders that are generating all of the technology that we're pretty much using now.
Yeah. So it's more like a strategic overview when you are researching your options. That's what we also are encouraging our students, even though it's very struggling specifically for undergraduate students, because they don't actually have this multitasking at that moment, maybe. But yes, I think for graduates it's kind of much easier to craft that. But with the help of your Education USA advisor, I'm more than sure that you will succeed. Okay. The next question: what should high schoolers, 10th grader, focus on or study deeply in order to succeed in biomedical engineering major? So I love the question. I think you can.
Yes, and the major is also one of the top majors for STEM, preferred majors for UG students. So the students, here we have to mention that the application process is usually the same for all of the STEM programs. It doesn't matter if it's a biomedical engineering or mechanical engineering, but decision will be made on the personal statement maybe. So the student has to be very clear on why does he prefer biomedical engineering here. But overall, to apply for the STEM programs, the students, of course, have to be more with the emphasis on STEM subjects. In some countries, I know in CIS region especially, we don't have this kind of differences between the school program overall. So you just have to keep your grades very high in STEM programs, in math, in physics, in chemistry, in biology. That's it. Your overall GPA has to be no less than 4 out of 5 or no less than 3 out of 4 in the USA system. Also, it would be good, of course, if you have SAT. I know that it's optional. Here we have to emphasize that SAT is optional in the United States. But SAT is something that helps you to improve critical thinking. And of course, the students have to be improved in this knowledge, in the skills, in critical thinking, especially. So, and of course, English language proficiency. If you're applying to the United States, your English language should be high. So you can. It's up to you what you want to take, which kind of exam. I mean, IELTS or TOEFL. It can be Duolingo as well, as Denver emphasized it during the presentation of Akron. So majority of universities, they accept Duolingo as well right now. So do you have anything to add, Denver?
I do. So this is an interesting question. So I look at it from 2 perspectives. One is in terms of, what are the entry requirements, which I won't go back on, but can an applicant or can an individual apply if they don't necessarily have a background in sort of biomedical or maths or engineering, physics, chemistry? Well, yes, if they're going for the undergraduate programs, they can be considered for an undergraduate program. You still do your personal statement, but you have to show why you are looking to take this particular program. So I'm going to use an extreme example. Let's just say, you were previously studying, arts, English or literature, and now you want to come into biomedical engineering. Now, again, somewhat unusual, but the case would be reviewed. And what we're looking for from that aspect is, well, why the change? Why now do you see a particular pattern now with your future going into biomedical engineering as a particular major? And that's where your understanding, your learning comes out in your application, your personal statement, your references, your documents, etc., for us to know that, okay, you've thought about this, you understand how sort of left field it might be. Okay, this change makes sense to me because I now have a passion. There could be a catalyst. You could have been to a fair, you could have been motivated by someone. And that's what we love. We just want to make sure that it's the right thing for you, because also when you go onto the program, when you're doing an undergraduate degree, your first year is very different to your third or your fourth year. All right. And that's what we want to make sure, is that you've got all of the information in front of you to make an informed decision about where you want to major. So you could go into biomedical engineering and then come out with a degree in mechanical engineering because you're thinking, no, I'm so much more excited. So that's what we look at from that particular aspect. And then the second thing that I'd say is, in order to succeed, yes, it probably would be strong, as Jamila mentioned, look at maths, look at the sciences in terms of your background. That doesn't mean that doesn't give you the platform to say you're definitely going to succeed, but it does give you a benchmark in terms of understanding maths as a strong background, gives you the platform to move forward. So it is food for thought in terms of what you are doing now to where it can lead you moving forward. One thing we don't want to do is put you into a program where you don't have the fundamentals in terms of mathematics, calculations, formulas, for you then to potentially struggle and then get down, get a little bit sad about it and then have to regroup. So it's all about setting you up for success at this particular stage, not when you're there.
Thank you so much, Emma, on that. So as you mentioned the SAT, I was wondering, how important is SAT nowadays? I mean, now as many universities are not that test optional anymore, is it true that the SAT anyway leverages up your chances to get a scholarship to a specific institution? What is in the case of your institution? Does that leverage up the chances of the student to get the financial aid?
So I'll answer this one. So with the overall SAT previously, if you would have asked me this question, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, my answer maybe would have been yes. A lot of institutions are doing it. They're recommending it. It's the stable foundation of your application. As time has gone by, there are other mechanisms of assessing a student application, as I've mentioned on the previous slide. So with that, it's not compulsory. Does it add to your application? Well, yes, it's another test that has shown us your aptitude and where you are, essentially, but it doesn't have the final judgment or say in terms of getting more financial aid. If you don't have it, you will still be considered based on the merits of your application, which is, again, there are 4 to 5 different touch points that we look at with your overall application. We usually find, Alina, that a lot of applicants have already done the SAT before they've even met us and just provide it with the file, and we say, okay, great, and we look at things. Now, if there is potential for the institution, while they're studying, to look at further grants or assistantships, that may be taken into consideration. However, for the purpose of the application, it is not compulsory, it's not required. You will take it if you get it, but definitely focus on the core attributes, which is, okay, why are you wanting to take this program? How does it link? And what qualifications from your bachelor's degree or your high school studies is linking towards you being successful in your program? So that's the advice that I would give to any applicants that are either thinking about taking it or wanting to take it in the future for additional part for our institutions, just to be clear. Jamila, is there anything that you would want to add on top of that?
Yes, I agree with that. SAT is an optional, especially when it becomes to the scholarship. So the students they can be assisted even without SAT. So in fact, we have students who are applying without SAT to different universities in our portfolio, to Ivy League, let's say, as a sample, or to another, and they are still receiving scholarships, more than 60% of scholarship. Here I would like to emphasize that students still can be assessed on their GPA, on their IELTS, English proficiency test, and of course the personal statements.
Thanks,
Thank you, guys. I think I've got disconnected for several.
We lost you for a second.
Okay, worry, that can happen. Okay, one of the next question, which I also wanted to ask is, I mean, not me, but one of our advisees. I would like to study astrophysics. Should I major in physics first and then specialize, or should I major in astrophysics directly? Which of the two has a better career path? If we can just allow 1 minute per every question, because we have like 5 more of them.
Sure.
We can be short on that.
So I would say I believe this is probably an undergraduate, a person looking to study an undergraduate program. Definitely start with physics first, then specialize. I cannot tell you how many students have come in with the same type of motivation, let me see, which is excellent. Within the first 6 months, they've discovered mechanical, they've discovered space, they've discovered everything, and they're thinking, I want to change my major. Don't restrict yourself within the first stages of starting a program. Go general, then specialize later on. The world will tell you which directions to go to, but definitely physics first and then specialize.
I like that one. Thank
Yes,
you.
exactly. I agree because after physics, you have a lot of options. After astrophysics, you have just one option, astrophysics. So that's what Denver would like to emphasize. Yes, it works like this. Actually, it's better to prefer more general subjects in your undergraduate degrees and then to make the specializations in your postgraduate degrees.
Absolutely.
Thank you. The next question, is nursing degree eligible for the STEM OPT extension?
I believe now nursing is a more medical program. It's related to medicine, so that's why it's not STEM. It doesn't have STEM designation, so that's why it doesn't have extra STEM extension after the graduation.
Yeah, there are sort of practices being looked at into, because we know that there are some STEM programs where you can get in the healthcare, like for example,
Yes.
healthcare management, which sometimes some institutions do designate it STEM. So it really does depend on the makeup of the program. But in this particular program, yes, Jamila would be right. That's not to say there won't be in the future, but again, it's more focused towards the healthcare as opposed to the STEM part.
Okay,
Exactly.
thank you. What about interior design and architecture? Someone else was asking. Is this considered a
Is that
STEM major?
STEM or is the question, is it considered STEM or non-STEM?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, so same, these would be considered as non-STEM programs.
Okay, that's good to know. And another question, can I get a master's scholarships immediately after graduating from my bachelor's?
So that's an excellent question. So we, Akron does have a number of scholarships available in order to progress students. So as you know, and as the question alludes to, we prefer that applicants start on undergraduate and stay with us in order to go on to the master's programs. So yes, for those that stay with us and sort of, we call it sort of a loyalty scholarship, so to speak, are available for potential students that when they get to year 4, they're applying for their graduate program, which should be very, very easy because they're in the system already. There are options available for students that stay with us.
Thank you. The next question, is having only work experience enough to transition into STEM masters from social science bachelor's degree?
I
That's a
believe,
good question.
yes, good question, but it depends on first on the university you would like to apply because some universities do accept students from different backgrounds, from even more non-STEM programs to STEM programs. I can give you an example on Avila. So some STEM designated programs at Avila University, they accept students even after non-STEM programs. So it depends on the university you would like to study, so you have to make a research on that, and based on that you can create your application and apply. And here you have to be sure why do you want to switch your major, because of course it's better to have background in the field. For example, you can apply to the healthcare management STEM from nursing, which is related, but sometimes students like to switch their majors from totally different programs, from translation to AI and so on. If you have experience, of course, it will be better for you and easy for you. to get your admission and also to get your visa, because it's one of the main things that the visa officers look while talking with students. So why did he decide to, let's say, switch the major? What the purpose on that? So it's a bit specific and individual question. So
Okay, good. That's good to know. The next question: are AP exams vital for field like aerospace, math? I suppose math, engineering,
Mechanical, mechanical
mechanical engineering,
engineering.
right? Right.
So they are very useful. I think the more specific you go with the particular programs. So, for example, aerospace, and I'm thinking in terms of after you've completed your degree is the competition in terms of job roles, and this does help. So essentially, exams like the AP are very, very useful, and we would recommend them in terms of a competition factor in comparison with other applicants as well. We have seen that it's worked well. And we see that if students take that extra time to get these, then it allows them to be a lot more competitive when it does come to either job selection, placements, anything like that as well. There are some industries, as I said to you before, like computer science, it's a lot broader now. But if you're talking about aerospace or mechanical engineering, you're talking about the top 1-2% in the country that are looking for these types of roles. So you're going to be competing with Ivy League and other types of institutions for either these qualifications and or jobs. So yes, definitely recommended.
Thank you. And the last one: how easy is it for international students with STEM degrees to find internships or research opportunities in the US?
Good question. Depends where you are. Depends on the role, and it depends on the type of field that you're looking to progress into. So again, I'll more of a general answer, but there are thousands of students that are studying in the United States, and there are thousands of opportunities, but there are more jobs than there are more students that are qualifying and graduating than there are the opportunities, basically. So to say, I wouldn't say anything is easy. I would say that if you have the necessary qualification, plus I would say any particular work experience, it allows you to be a lot more competitive in terms of finding internships or graduations. But also, I would say if you're studying, so say if as soon as you land with your undergraduate degree, we recommend boosting your CV, volunteering, doing free internships, doing everything you can in and around the field to grow your CV. So even though you may not have sort of paid real life work experience, you've got a more solid CV. So by the time or you're coming up to your fourth year of studies, you've got a packed CV in order to progress that in terms of either finding internships with the hope of that internship saying, we enjoyed your time so much, we're going to offer you a role at the end of your graduate degree. So nothing is easy, but everything is possible with the right preparation and the right CV. So just don't think about the academics. Think about the extracurricular activities you should be doing, because other students that are looking for the same jobs same internships or same jobs are doing just that. So just take that into consideration.
Oh, great. I love that advice, because students would think that they have to focus specifically in that period when they would apply for their undergraduate degree. And after that, they would kind of forget about that. But yes, I mean, it totally makes sense. And we definitely also encourage that. Thank you so much for answering all the questions, and thank you so much for your presentation and for your brilliant answers on all the questions that our student had. I really hope that everyone that was with us today live, they enjoyed it, and we have here a QR code that you can scan, and you can put there your thoughts and your feedback. If you have some more topics that you want us to suggest, or you want us to present on, please list them there. We're going to be more than happy to have them in our webinars. And Denver, Jamila, thank you very much once more for your expertise and for your great presentation. For those who are interested afterwards, they can reach them. I mean, we can submit the information in the chat of Jamila or of Denver, so you can also connect with Inuni system. Thank you once more, and I wish you everyone a great evening.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you for your attention, and I hope this session inspires you to explore more STEM in the United States. Good evening.
Thank you.